Welcome to my channel. My name is David Randall, aka Daphrasemusic. This is the Groove Grid. And in today's video, I'm just going to be talking a little bit about who I am, what I'm going to be doing on this channel from here on out. I know I've posted a few videos on beats and different things like that, but going forward, I'm just going to be doing a little more of talking and explaining my approach to music, my love for music, technology, beat making, and a host of other things to do with music and technology. And so just a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Michigan. I grew up in Belleville. It's a little country area here in Michigan. Currently now I'm in Canton, Michigan. And I've always loved music. I mean, since I was a kid, I was always intrigued by the sounds of music. Just any type of music, I was always intrigued by it. Rhythm, harmony, melody, just always captured me. My parents, they were always playing music in the house. I remember when I was a kid, my mom and dad would drop us off over my Grandmother Hellens' house. And my Grandmother Helen was definitely a lover of music. And she had this huge stereo system in her living room. And it had a turntable in there. And I would sneak in there and mess with it. I knew I wasn't supposed to be messing with it because that was her stuff. But I would sneak and mess with it. And she would put on the music videos for us. It was BET, MTV. And I remember just listening to all the different songs and the videos. And I would see a DJ, scratching on the turntables and doing all kind of cool stuff in some of the videos. And I always think to myself, like, how are they doing that? And one day I want to do that. And so that kind of sparked my love for music and technology, because I seen how that could have been the means of how they were getting those sounds, but I just didn't know. But I was intrigued by it because I was like, it's coming from that. So I need to learn how they're doing that. And so we would run outside my grandmother's apartment complex. She lived in Ypsilanti at the time. And I remember I seen some people going to the dumpster. They had a few pieces of equipment or something like that. I think they had like a radio and a TV stand and some other stuff. They just had a bunch of stuff. They were throwing it in the dumpster. And me being an explorative kid, I'm like, I'm going to see what they're throwing away. So I dumpster dived. I jumped in the dumpster. That was dangerous. I don't advise that. But I jumped in the dumpster and I found a Magnavox radio. I pulled it out. It didn't have a cord to it, but I was like, it looked cool. So, in the music videos, I see the people walk around with the radio and the beats would be going. I'm like, I'm gonna have me a radio and have beats on my shoulder. So I grabbed the radio, took it in my grandmother's apartment. My mom and dad came to pick us up, and I begged. I said, can I please take it home? My mom and dad let me take it home. And but it didn't have a cord to it. So I asked my dad, I said, Dad, do you think you have a cord that will go with the radio to make it work? And he says, yeah, son, we'll see what we can do. And my dad was the type of guy, he had all kinds of gadgets. He had an extra this, an extra that. He just was very resourceful when it came to things around the house or anything that needed to make something work. My dad was just that type of guy. And he had a cord that fit that radio. It was a little brown cord. It wasn't the exact, cord for that radio, but it was one that fit. It worked. Plugged it in, radio came on. I was ecstatic. I was excited. I'm like, I got my own radio. So I took it in my room, and I remember just switching through the channels and listening to the radio and just listening to the music because I was so in love with music. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I wonder how they're getting those beats to do what they're doing, or those melodies in there. And it sounded like it was a program. It was like a loop. And I'm like, I keep hearing the loop. And I'm like, how are they doing that? And I remember thinking to myself, for the first time, I found or discovered what I wanted to do with my life. I was like, I want to make music. I'm a musician. Yeah, I want to make music. And so I was so excited. And then from there, my love for music continued to grow because I would listen to the radio and I would learn different beats, and so I would, you know, sometimes bebop, so to speak. I would make beats with my mouth, or I would tap on things, and so music was always just around me. And I remember when we got to grade school in Belleville, where we grew up, I wanted to be in band. And so my mom, she signed us up for band, so we could be in band. And I remember you had to go to the school at a certain time because there was a limited amount of certain instruments. So I wanted to play the drums. And I remember getting there late. And I was upset because I asked the people there that were assigning the instruments to the kids, are there any more drums left? Or at the times there were like these xylophones. And I was like, I want one because I'm a drummer. And they were like, all we have left is trombones, trumpets, clarinets and flutes, and a few other things that I wasn't interested in. But I wanted to be in band. And so I remember thinking, well, I guess I'll play the trumpet. So I chose the trumpet so I could be in the band. I was not good at the trumpet because I didn't want to play the trumpet. I mean, but the trumpet is a beautiful instrument. I love brass instruments, but at the time I didn't have an appreciation, so I chose the trumpet. And of course I sat the last chair because I barely practiced it, but I was still in band because I wanted to be in band, I wanted to be around music. And I remember in the 5th grade, my dad had got a job in a city outside of where we were living. So we had to move closer so he could get to work. So we moved to Ypsilanti from Belleville. And I remember I think it was it my 5th grade year? Yes, I was 5th grade. And I found out that I could test out of the trumpet into the drums. And I couldn't wait. So my band teacher, Mr. McGuethy, he's a funny guy. I couldn't wait to test out of that trumpet to get into the drums. So I tested out of the trumpet into the drums. So it was like these little rudiments he made me practice, and I had to pass that test so I could test into the drums. And I passed it. I got me a drum. So we went, I think it was called, I can't remember the music store. I can't remember, but I just remember my mom, so loving. I appreciate my mom and dad. They were so patient. She took me to that store, and we traded the trumpet for a drum. So I had my own snare drum, and I was in there now. I was a drummer, as official. And even so, from there, you know, through grade school, middle school, I stuck with the drums. And I remember when I got to middle school, I met a buddy. His name was AJ. Aaron Wilson, really talented guy. He played several instruments: trumpet, trombone, baritone. He could play the drums, and he was really proficient on the piano. He could really play the piano. And I remember he would show me different things on the piano. We actually were in jazz band together. And that's kind of where I started to get a taste for more of wanting to produce music then. And but we didn't have any equipment because, boy, we didn't have money like that. So I remember my buddy Sin Q was also in band too, and he played the saxophone. He was really good. He was really, really good. And he had a Yamaha keyboard at his house. And he lived like 8 doors down from me, something like that, or around the corner from our house in Ypsi. And I remember going to his house, and he had the Yamaha keyboard, but you couldn't loop on the keyboard. There was no quantization, none of that. And I just remember I had a recorder from Radio Shack. I would take that over there. I had a cassette tape. You put it in, hit the 2 buttons, you could record anything. And so I took that over, and that's how I would dub my beats. And so on that Yamaha keyboard, it was a really nice learning experience because it was barely anything. We didn't have, it wasn't too many things like the technology now. Like I'm sitting here in front of an MPC, a Kai SC. This is a special edition, and this thing you can just do everything on this thing. And back here I got an ND88, and I got DAWs on the laptop, so you can just do a lot of stuff now. But back then, for us, anyways, we didn't have it. So it was a good time for me to learn how to write songs on that Yamaha keyboard, because you would have to go in, and if you want your beat to be 3 minutes, you had to play your drum track for 3 minutes. So we really learned to be proficient. And plus we were in band, so we learned how to count measures and things of that sort. So that helped out. And I remember making beat tapes. We thought we were cool, man, on that Yamaha keyboard. But the moral of the story is this, is that, you know, with music, if you love it, do it. Start somewhere. You may not have a lot. Everyone has a story and a journey. There are many parts and layers to my story and journey. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I'm going to continue to pour those things into this channel. You'll see more of that. But in today's video, I just wanted to just inspire you. And anybody out there that wants to start music, or maybe you started and you stopped, I just want to encourage you to get back into it. If it's something that you really love, it's a part of who you are. And so I'm not going to keep the video going. But again, my name is David Randall, aka Daphrasemusic. This is the Groove Grid. You're going to get a lot more content from me. And we're going to sign out. Keep going.